Hey guys, my name is Scoby and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set up and install PCSX2 on your PC in 2026. PCSX2 is a PS2 emulator for your PC and it supports pretty much every single PlayStation 2 game. Let's jump right into this. So the first thing we're going to do is come to this link. Links as always are in the description down below, and here we're going to be installing PCSX2. Once we come here, we're going to be clicking the download button. Once we're here, we're going to be looking for the latest stable release. And we're going to be downloading the latest installer, which is version 2.6.2 at the time of this video. While we have our browser open, we're also going to be downloading 7-zip. Of course, I'll also leave this link in the description down below. And here we're going to be downloading the latest version for Windows. Simply click download here, and we're going to let this file download as well. So here I have all the files that we will need and all the files that we have downloaded. The first thing we're going to be doing is installing 7-zip. We're simply going to be looking for the exe that we have downloaded, double clicking it, clicking yes on the Windows pop-up that shows up, selecting an install location. I'm going to be leaving it on my C drive, but feel free to select wherever you want. Click install, and then 7-zip will be installed. We will be needing this a bit later to extract certain content for our PlayStation emulator. Click close. We already have our PCSX2 application here, although we're not going to be using that right now. We're going to be installing that in a couple of minutes. First, I wanted to talk about the ROMs and the BIOS files, which are two additional files that you will need to, of course, be able to play PlayStation 2 games. The first thing we'll be looking at is the BIOS file, and this is going to be the system application file that PCSX2 needs to be able to emulate PlayStation 2 games. Now, I will not be showing you in today's video where to download this, although it is really easy to find online. A quick Google search will help you out with this. But when you download a BIOS file, it might be already compressed into a .7-zip or a .zip file, and this is where you will need 7-zip to extract it. So in this case, for example, I have a 7-zip file. I can right-click, show more options, 7-zip, and extract here. This will extract the files, but I'll just say yes to all to overwrite them, and here we can see all of my BIOS files extracted. These BIOS files we will need in a few minutes when we actually try to install RetroArch. The next thing we're going to be talking about are ROMs, or actual game files that we will need to be able to play PlayStation 2 games. Now, ROMs can come in a couple of formats, and most likely they will be in a .iso or a disk image format. I have a couple of games here, but likely when you download their games, they will be compressed into a .7-zip that you will need to extract with 7-zip. Now, I will also mention in today's video, I will not be showing you where to download your ROMs or games. Again, it is really easy. A quick Google search will help you out if you want to do it. Or if you have some old PlayStation 2 games lying around, you can actually extract your own games using the disk like we did with the BIOS. We can simply right click, show more options. We're going to be hovering over 7-zip right here, and we're going to be extracting our files. Simply click OK in this pop-up. So here I've extracted my Simpsons Hit and Run file, and inside this folder I will see that I have my .iso formats, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Now from this point, once you have your BIOS files and your ROM files, we can actually start to install PCSX2. So we're going to be looking for the exe that we downloaded earlier. We're going to be double clicking it open. Windows might give you this warning to not install it. However, it will do this with a lot of emulator files. We're simply going to be clicking more info and click run anyway. We'll have to click yes on the Windows pop-up that shows up. And then we're going to have to wait a couple of seconds for the PCSX2 file to open. And then your screen might go blank. If we come down to our toolbar here, we can actually see the PCSX2 setup is down here. We're going to be clicking this open, and then we're going to be going through this process. So I'm going to be going through the standard installation process. You can set up the portable installation. Click next. We're then going to be selecting an install location for our PCSX2. I'm going to be leaving it on my C drive, but if you would like to install it somewhere else, click browse and select another location. Click next. We're then going to be adding a start menu folder. Again, I'm going to be leaving it by default. You can also choose not to create a start menu folder. You then have the option to create a shortcut for your PCSX2. I am going to be doing this, but if you would like to not, simply uncheck it, and then you'll have that option as well. We'll then get the final information, click install, and then we're going to be launching PCSX2. Simply click finish. From this point, PCSX2 is installed on your computer. However, we're going to be going through an additional setup process to set up our BIOS files and games. That's why we set them up previously. The first thing you can choose is the language. I'm going to be leaving it by default. And here you can select any color you want. I'm actually going to be going with the AMOLED black theme. You also have the option to enable or disable automatic updates. I'm going to be leaving it enabled. We're then going to be clicking next. Here we're then going to be setting up the BIOS file that we have downloaded previously. For today's video, I'm actually going to be moving the BIOS files that we have into the PCSX BIOS folder. To do this, we're going to be coming back to our wizard, clicking open BIOS folder, and then we're going to be copying our BIOS files by selecting them all, copy, right click, paste, and then our BIOS files will be inside. From this point, if we come back to our setup wizard, nothing will change. But if we click refresh list here, select the BIOS file, click next. Here we can then select our game directories. We can also see a full list of all the supported formats as mentioned. We're simply going to be clicking add directory, and here we're going to be locating to where our ROM files are. So I'm going to be locating to my ROM folder here. Then select the overview folder where you can see all of your ROM files. In this case, it will automatically select them all. Click select folder. It will then ask if you would like to scan recursively. Click yes. And then it will search inside all of these folders. From this point, we can then set up our controller. And here we have a couple of options. We can select our controller type. So by default, I'd recommend leaving it on DualShock 2, of course. However, depending on the games you're going to be playing, you can either use a guitar or any of the other additional game controllers. So the cool thing with PCSX2 is by default, it will work with most PlayStation controllers. You can just plug them in and play. Also with your Xbox Series and Xbox One controllers, they'll pretty much work automatically. So for today's video, I have connected my Xbox One controller to my computer, and I'm going to be mapping this to my controller port 1. As mentioned, I'll select DualShock 2. I'll click automatic mapping. And then I will do it for the S input controller right here. So that will be my controller that's already connected. It is SDL0, so it's automatically done. If you would like to set up other controllers, you can do that automatically here as well. So for example, I can set this up for my keyboard. So now my second controller port will be my keyboard, whereas my first controller port will be my Xbox controller, which is a cool option. We will then click next, and here we will see our setup is complete. Finally, we will click finish, and PCSX2 will now be installed, and it will show up with all of the ROM files that we have selected. From this point, I'm going to be loading a game just to show that it works, and then we're going to be going through a couple of settings and options inside PCSX2. To load a game, we can simply double click it. I'm going to be loading Ratchet & Clank here as an example. I'll then just be full screening this application, and we can see that your game will run automatically. Now, PS2 games are not super difficult to run performance-wise, so even on older systems, this should run quite well, depending on the additional options that you set up. From this point, we're going to be coming to System. Now we're going to be looking at a couple of options inside PCSX. The first thing I'm going to be doing is coming to Settings, Interface, and here I'm going to be highlighting a couple of key options that I recommend changing. The first thing I'd recommend doing is starting your games in full screen. This will avoid you having to open it up full screen every time. It makes life a little bit easier. If you do want to keep it in windowed mode but don't want it to move around too much, you can disable window resizing, and we can also check for updates whenever you want. So if you don't want to enable automatic updates, you can still check for updates manually. The next option here is game list, and if you do ever want to update or add additional directory files where you want to keep your games, you can do that here. So if you have a second hard drive attached to your computer, we can then add a second file directory so you can point to 2 folders at once. So all of your games don't need to be in one location if you start to run out of storage, for an example. Inside the emulation folder, there's only 2 things I want to point out. First is if you want to enable cheats for your games, you can do this here. I'm not going to be enabling it for my games, however, it is an option that you can do. One thing you might want to set up, or at least use as a default, is VSync. This will help avoid screen tearing, especially in some heavy-paced games. So I would recommend starting with VSync and then seeing how it works with your system. We're then going to be coming to the graphics tab. So by default, I think the graphics options inside PCSX are actually quite good. However, if you have a more powerful system, or depending on the games you're playing, you can actually tune them to look quite a bit better. The first thing I'd recommend doing is coming to your adapter option right here and selecting the graphics card that you have. If you only have an internal graphics card, you can select that. So for example, Intel HD graphics. Otherwise, if you have a dedicated graphics card in your system, for example, I have an RX 9070, you can select that here. Inside the display option, there's a couple things you can take a look at. The first is the aspect ratio. Here you can feel free to keep the standard or default native 4:3. However, I like to set up 16:9 inside my option. This will allow you to play games in full screen. And alongside this, I would recommend enabling this option here, apply widescreen patches. So if a game has a patch or a mod that will allow it to be in widescreen, it will actually set this up, which is quite cool. The last 2 things I'd recommend checking are your rendering options. So by default, it will load at the native PlayStation 2 resolution. However, if you have a more powerful system or a higher resolution monitor, you can feel free to bring this up to a higher amount. In my case, I'm actually running a 4K screen, so I'm actually going to be setting this up to 6x native, which is going to run at 4K. And alongside this, I'd recommend updating this filtering option to 16x, which can help your games look a little bit better. Now, to keep in mind, I've mentioned a couple times in this video, the performance. If you are experimenting with this and putting it higher resolutions and you do notice more stuttering or more frame drops or lag inside your games, these are the first options I'd recommend turning down. The next thing we will look at is memory cards. If you have already launched a game, it's likely that your memory cards will already be created and are available here. However, you can also manually create a memory card here, and you can even select the size of the memory card you want. In most cases, I'd just say create an 8 MB memory card by default, use the normal compression, and simply give your memory card a name. For example, card 1. Click OK. And now we have a new memory card created. You can then assign it to either one of your one of two slots by right-clicking, use for slot 1, and here we can see that our memory card is now inside slot 1. To keep in mind, if you ever want to make backups, this is where your memory cards will be stored. It is possible to bring this online. It's not something I'm going to be looking at in today's video, but you can enable this if you do want to go online for certain games that support it. The last thing I want to mention is actually achievements, because I think this is quite a cool option. And depending on the game you're playing, the supported achievements will pop up, similar to how a PlayStation 3 or any of the newer PlayStations would work. I think it's a really cool feature for these older games. You can simply connect it with your Retro Achievements account by clicking login and following here. I'm not going to be deep diving it too much in today's video, I just wanted to mention that it's here, but I think it's a very cool option. And now all of our settings are set up inside PCSX2. The last thing I want to show before actually launching the game again is checking out the patches or the available patches if your game has any. So for example, if we look at Ratchet & Clank, we can right click, go to properties, come to patches, and here we can see a list of patches for your games if there is any. So I mentioned a bit earlier about the 16:9 patches. It will automatically select it if your game has it, but certain games have additional patches. For example, if I select Jak and Daxter, I can see additional patches here for the 16:9 format. As I mentioned, I can enable it here. And we can also have additional patches depending on the game. For example, no interlacing, which you can enable here, or even an NTSC mode. So if you're bringing games into PCSX2, it can be an interesting thing to check out the patches. And also, again, as mentioned earlier, if you have cheats enabled, you can set up some cheats here inside your game. Depending on what game you're playing, if it has any cheats available, we can set that up as well. So from this point, I'm just going to be launching my game. I'm going to be launching Ratchet & Clank again. It is going to automatically launch in full screen. And now this time when I launch it, it should load in a much higher resolution and at the widescreen format. So you can see all that in play right away. When a game is open, we can also open the on-screen menu inside PCSX2. Simply click the escape button on your keyboard. And here we can see some more options. So for example, if you want to close your game, you can then close the game with a save state. You can reset the system, or you can exit without saving. So you can close down your game and go back to the PCSX2 interface if you want at any time. And just like that, we have set up PCSX2 and we're playing PS2 games on our PC in 2026. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, check out the other videos on the channel. Until next time guys, as always, keep it saucy. Peace.